So, this is part 2 of the DJ Bagpuss Show, and I have my first guest. This is Ben Gurney. Would you like to come in? Get around here. Ben is my very, very first guest on the DJ Bagpuss Show, so he doesn't have an award or anything, but he's the first person on my show, and we're doing an interview with him. So, Ben Gurney is my current lecturer at Mid-Kent College. He's teaching me to do all of this lovely editing stuff, and he puts up with a lot of the stuff that I can't do. So he is currently teaching me music technology. How long have you been at Mid-Kent College?
This is, I can never quite remember. It's either 16th or 17th academic year that I've been teaching at the college.
20 years at this college.
Yeah, almost, yeah. Started in 2000.
Blimey, 17 years, which is some going to be at one specific place. And so, really, we're doing this interview to give people out there who are into music or want to get into the industry or talking about music technology, a chance to see it from someone who teaches it, who has taught it for like 20 years. Because people know on my channel, I spoke in episode 1, which I'll leave a link in the description, check out episode 1 if you missed it, about music technology, what I do from a student's perspective. So I think it'd be quite interesting to get it from a lecturer's perspective. And also, you've been in the music industry before,
yeah,
for 20 to 30, so you've got extensive knowledge of. It basically lives and breathes music.
It's kind of been what I've done my entire life, really.
Yeah. So it's you've not known any different. So okay, let's start the interview. So I've got a couple of questions here, and I'm just going to ask Ben the questions, and then he'll give me an answer, and that will be it, really. So if you guys enjoy this interview and want to see more guests on the DJ Bagpuss Show, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new around here. So I told my viewers out here what music technology is from a student's perspective, but if anyone's watching out there who wants to get into music and wants to get into music technology, what is the course? What is music technology?
Well, music technology is really about using kind of technology means to record, manipulate, and play back sound. So anything that you kind of do is kind of music technology. So if you're doing live sound, studio sound, if all of that kind of stuff, that's all music tech. Also, the kind of things that people don't think about as being music technology are things like when you're watching kind of football on TV or something. There had to be microphones had to be set up so you can actually hear the sound, and that's all music tech too.
Okay, and so obviously you take on the course and you do lots of different things involved with music technology. What opportunities and jobs can you go into when you successfully complete the course to get the qualification?
Well, obviously there's the obvious ones, which are sort of working in recording studio, working at live sound. We've got ex-students who kind of work at some of the big festivals. We also working in PA hire companies, actually giving the stuff out to all the various people, and also things like music therapy as well. We can do that, but also outside of that kind of music stuff, there's all the kind of any way that you see sound being used. So obviously there's sound for film, sound for computer games, even down to things like sound in sat-navs. Someone's got to record it, someone's got to edit it all.
Yeah, that is really good. So can you remember your first day at the college, like your very first day you got the job, and how were you feeling? How did that come across?
Yeah, my first teaching day was very, very interesting. Back 20 years ago or so, when I first started, it was much more about getting people in from the industry who are really good and then kind of train them to be teachers next. So I hadn't had much in the way of teacher training when I first stepped in, and it was literally, here is a classroom, these are your students, here is your timetable, go. So that first time was really scary, sort of walking into the room and sort of being confronted with 16 people waiting to learn and actually having to think about what it is that I was going to teach them that day.
Cool, that must have been like really daunting. And I guess as the years have gone on, it's just become more like this, with usually every episode that I'm doing, I'm kind of getting more used to and more kind of getting into the swing of things, really. So I guess every year we go, it just makes it easier and easier.
Yeah, I mean, every year I do it. Obviously, you build up different resources, you make different links, you've got things that you kind of build up, and you start to know the courses better, and it's sort of delivering it becomes a lot more smoother.
Okay, really good answer. So this is a really good question. What is your favourite thing about teaching music technology?
My favourite thing about it all is the fact I get to actually meet and work with the students. That bit into the classroom is always the best bit. It's always the cliche when people say about teaching, what's the best bit? But it is actually being in the classroom. And also being challenged by the students, because a lot of the time students will kind of say things or have ideas and they'll kind of go, oh, why don't you do it that way? Or why don't we do it this way? Or I've had this really great idea. And you kind of stop and you think, oh, well, actually, maybe we could. And it's those moments that actually help me, as a person who does music technology, develop as well.
I mean, something that I've noticed, particularly when obviously been studying this course now for 2 years, and I came into this course with literally no experience, and I never even played any instrument or anything like that. So last year I wasn't particularly confident, and there was a lot of times, like for instance, we did this Christmas track, which everyone was doing really well in, and I couldn't get in time. Like, timing is a massive thing that we study on music technology, and I kind of asked Ben, and he kept helping me over and over and over again, and then he taught me how to get things in time, and kind of we spent a good like 2-3 hours getting that, and then it suddenly just happened. And now timing is something that I still have a couple of moments, but I'm relatively getting much better at that, and particularly going into the second year, I wouldn't have done this last year. I wouldn't have had the confidence to edit videos and now put them out on YouTube and kind of get that experience. So it's kind of, you can come into this course having nothing, and Ben will guide you and teach you, and as long as you meet him halfway, it will get up to that moment as well.
Absolutely. I mean, everybody learns these kind of skills at their own speed. So it's really important to sort of look at your class and see how people are doing, and making sure that everyone is kind of getting towards the targets, but always practicing. Practicing does make perfect.
And what I also think is something that you're really good at is that you could ask Ben like 20 to 30, 40 times the same thing. And sometimes you get lecturers who you feel like you're annoying them or bugging them, even though they say it's their job. But Ben will literally keep telling you the same thing and helping you. And you never feel like, I always feel sometimes like I keep asking him the same thing over and over. He must get really frustrated. But he generally doesn't, and he actually really helps you and keeps helping you at the same thing, even if it's something like ridiculous. And that's something that really helps me, because I'm the sort of person that I want to make sure that it is perfect. Like, I like to be reassured that, yeah, this is fine, you can move on before actually moving on. So it's certainly something that I really like, the way that you teach is kind of keep going over and over and over again. Kind of in part with that, if I ask you something 20 times, what is the most frustrating thing about teaching music technology?
The most frustrating thing for me, and this is going to sound just kind of weird really, obviously I teach students, my courses are 2-year courses, and I kind of get to the point at the end of 2 years when the students start getting really, really good at everything, get really good at recording, really good at sequencing, and that's when I've got to say goodbye. And I always think about all the kind of projects and stuff that they could do. I mean, now their skill sets are really, good. And I've got to say goodbye to that group of students, and then I do the same again with another group of students, get them to that point, and then I've got to say goodbye. And it's that, for me personally, is the most frustrating thing. Also, I guess sometimes I get a little bit frustrated about that there are so much really cool stuff in music technology that I'd love to show. But I know that at this stage of development, if I showed it kind of all, right now, it would just be so confusing and so daunting. I've really got to keep to the basics and get things really, really down, so they've got those basic skills, those core skills they're going to need for the rest of their career. So I often sometimes think to myself, I wish I could have showed them that, but I know it would be too much at this stage.
Yeah, definitely. And that is, I'm leaving this course in 6 weeks we've got left.
Yeah, it's about that.
It's actually terrifying. I obviously now doing the YouTube thing is really good, because I wanted to go into radio, so if someone in the industry sees my videos, you could start working a partner, or if this really takes off as a full-time job. So I think it's a really good timing in terms of starting this up for me. But I would say that, as you see in some of the episodes, right at the end of the episode, I say special thanks Ben Gurney. You're probably thinking, well, why is that? That's because Ben, when I'm editing videos, gives me advice. So I do all the work, but if I'm doing something maybe particularly not right, or something a way easier, Ben will give me advice. Gave me advice, we talked about it, about splitting stuff into parts so it's easier to edit, and it's just better for you guys to watch it rather than a huge long video to split into parts of what you want to watch, what you don't want to watch. So Ben is always on there, on hand, and anything that you have, any side projects as well, Ben will always be happy. It's all about the coursework, but there's other things that you can do. If you want to record bands, if you want to do stuff that I'm doing now, music technology gives you that way and platform about all of those different things. So the next question I've got for you is that if you could sum up one thing about music in the way it makes you feel, or the importance of music, or something about the industry just as a whole in general, what would that be?
Well, for me, I guess the thing that's always really inspired me most about music as a whole throughout my life has been the fact it's a good way of getting in touch with what someone else is feeling about something. You can really feel, get a sense of their emotions through the music they kind of make, and you can also take yourself away into that particular kind of headspace. And that for me is the real key thing, is that connection. In the same way that you can listen to a piece of music that was maybe done by like a K-pop artist or something, maybe not even be in this language, but you can still feel the emotion, even though you may not understand what the lyrics are saying. So it's that transfer of emotion for me is the real key.
And particularly when you take on music technology, you do see music in a different way, in just of the way it is, but also the way of how you appreciate music so much more when you've had a background knowledge of the technical side as a whole. It makes you even love music even more, but you see it in a different side of way. I mean, I always used to love remixing. I love remixing even more now because I know how to get into it and the instrumentation and characteristics of it. And I think music certainly, when you know that, makes you how it makes you feel even more. So I think certainly that this course, you're not just learning about how to do stuff, you're learning about music as a whole and getting a better insight into music. And it be music from CDs, music in films, video games, it's so many different areas, so it's quite broad in that particular way. So the final question I've got is, if you give one word of advice to anyone going into music technology or the music industry, what would that be?
One word. Well, one bit of advice for me.
Yeah, just one bit of advice in general.
Is be patient. Be patient, and don't rely on sending kind of emails to people. Go and actually meet people. Go and get out there and press the flesh, as they say. And actually go out and handshakes. Do your research as well. So if you want to get a job at a particular recording studio or a particular record company, research about their studio, the kind of things they've done. Find out who the people are you've got to talk to, and go there and actually go and meet them. And that's always going to be the best way, because things like letters and emails, they're too easy to delete or throw in the bin, and if you're stood face to face with someone, you're more likely to get the opportunity.
Certainly, and I had that when you on this course you have to complete 36 hours of work experience, and if you send letters and emails out, they literally just get deleted or get ignored. So literally when you're going out to try and get work experience and going out into the industry, you have to, as you say, constantly knock and speak face to face. Because as Ben says, that person will think, cool, this person's really annoying, so I'll finally say, okay, see what you've got and keep persisting is, I think, really good. And also, so that is the end of the questions. If you guys want to get any further information on music technology, leave your comments, questions and queries down in the comment section below and I'll try and answer them. Ben is a really good lecturer. I'm not saying that just so he passed me on its own. Please, easy pass, but I had no experience going into this course and I'm much more inclined, and this is now what I want to do, and I started from nothing and worked myself up using hard work, and Ben is always there on hand to help you and get you to that place, and always will help you as long as you meet him halfway. He will constantly keep telling you things over and over again, and he never gives himself, he doesn't like to give himself credit, he always doesn't want to blow on his own trumpet, which is fine, because you get some lecturers out there who think they're absolutely amazing, but Ben honestly deserves a lot more credit than what he gets, and he's doing really, really well. So if you want to get taught music technology and pass and go into a really good job, then Ben is one of those lecturers that will get you to that place as long as you put in some hard work. So thank you very much, Ben, for coming on to the show. Thank you for the interview.
Well, I just want to say that if anyone's interested in any of the courses, or if they just want to ask some music technology questions, please feel free to drop me a line at ben.gurney@midkent.ac.uk.
Okay, thank you very much. Cheers, that was really good. Cheers, Ben.